when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
It's not true. It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
I keep on pushing down my gypsy road.
All right, everybody, we are here. So exciting. Man, we already got a lot of good people in the chat already. Oh, there's our awesome friend, Hero Steel, which I loved his last video about rednecks back in the medieval times. I love those jokes. Those are cool. Judy Wheeler is here. Mind's Eye. Juan Torres always has a lot of information. I'm guessing that I think Juan Torres is a freaking Yeti. He might be a Yeti, guys. We don't know. BF Bud is here. We got Hobbs. Let me see here. It's just me. I always love that Chuck Norris picture because Chucky, baby. You can't defeat Chucky. I say Chucky could take down Rocky in a second, but that's just me. Chocolate and Cheese is here and all that. So, guys, we're going to get into some Yeti stuff, but I just want to let you guys know that, if you missed it last night, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, I felt like we had a kick-ass show last night. What scares you? We talked about what kind of genres kind of scare you, and we got on to almost every goddamn subject there really was. And then we looked at a top 10 list of what they considered the scariest, and we gave our opinions. That was awesome. So if you guys haven't watched it, trust me, you guys should watch it. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about all the folklore movies, movies that were based on the real world stories and folklore.
Oh, that's cool.
And of course, there's going to be movies on this list because I saw this list, and I won't let Connor see the list because I want Connor to be raw with it. I want him because I know he has a lot of movies that's not on this list, and that's going to be cool. And then right before this show, I dropped a new music video, Predator style, Brittany Fox, Hair of the Dog. You guys should check that out. That was a pretty fun little music video. I know you're thinking Brittany Fox, Hair of the Dog, and I'll be honest with you. Beyond that song, the band sucks. Band completely sucks. But they actually had that one good song.
I thought you liked them. I thought you liked that band. Nope,
Brittany Fox sucks. Every song sucks except for that one.
Serious?
And that one fits perfect with Predator. No, Brittany Fox is technically, I hate to say it, right? I just made a music video with them. But technically, they were a cheap version of them trying to create another Cinderella band from Philadelphia. They weren't good. They didn't really have that good blues. But that one song was the only song that kicked ass, and it actually worked with the Predator. So I'm just going to say that. So that's great.
I love the ending of that music video, of course. I don't want to spoil for anybody. But guys, definitely watch it.
That was the first time where the beginning and the end, there's really no word said.
That's pretty impressive.
No words.
No
words. There's no words. So, guys, welcome everybody. So, Dr. Wu, how's your audio? Sounds great.
I had to get my computer crashed, man. I'm right before the show. Everything was preset, and then there's like, what's going on? There's something wrong here. It should not be any problems at the moment, but there was.
I like that.
Cool that Connor was here. I was like, Connor's on there. Fucking thank God.
That ain't no problem. But my God, they do suck. The band really
When
does.
Eric's by himself, he looks nervous. You know, he gets scared. I'm scared for him. Connors gets scared for him. So we're like, but we were here to hold his hand. He's okay.
I love it, man. Whenever I'm on interviews, people are like, "Is it his first time?" Just because I'm always like, I'm always trying to get facts per minute. My proudest stat on Call of Duty is survival of life. Just like the time of life. Because it's a battle royale game. You want to be the last one alive. So I camp and survive. I'm in the top 0.4% of all Call of Duty players. And then me, as just a journalist, I'm trying to be facts per minute. I'm trying to hit you with at least, 32 facts per minute. And that's what? Every 2.3 seconds. So I'm just trying to hit you and overload you. And then people can watch it back on 0.75 speed if they can't keep up. But yeah, a shout out to everybody in the chat. It's great to see BF Bud.
Somebody read that.
I'm going to see him in 48 hours up in Tennessee. But yeah, Aaron Rocca. Congratulations. Joey Rocca had a new baby, a girl, Laura Lynn. Give her a shout out. Heck yeah. Shout out Joey Rocca.
Congratulations.
Rocca.
With Joey shaving his balls so much, I didn't think he was able to have kids again.
I didn't think so. I know he's been shaving his balls frequently. I didn't think he was able to do that. That's awesome. That's great. It goes to show you it's not about the balls sometimes.
And guys, there is an Easter egg in that show last night. There's one little shot that we found. That man right there, Connor, was in a scene in a movie trailer. He was in a movie. There's a scene of him in the movie trailer. I'm not going to tell you the name of the movie. I'm not going to tell you what part he's in. You're going to have to watch last night. Go to the part where we talked about his little scene in a fucking movie.
No way.
At first, it was like my biggest, feature movie, which I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, it was an awesome movie that we filmed in Lakeland, and I'm in 2 scenes, major scenes, and I'm sharing the screen and sharing the stage with people that were in the movie. Remember the Titans, Punisher. Now we're on Walking Dead, so it's very cool. But guys, look behind me. Zillafoot, always creeping. Zillafoot, they sold enough pre-orders and online orders that it got a widespread release. So it's going to be in Walmart, IE, Amazon, probably Goodwill in a couple of weeks. It's going to be on the side of the road. It's going to be scuffed up. They're going to be using it as bird feeders. Because, man.
It's going to be a cult classic. Cult classic. That's what
I'm really looking forward to making a video. I'm going to go around Walmart and kind of kind of not forcing it on people, but tell people about it and ask them if they're gonna buy it and be like, are you? And hopefully they deny it, or maybe they will buy it. Either way.
Well, just go in front of Walmart, do with a table, put the movies out there, and then sign them. Do a signing, do a movie signing,
or move the movies up front, so that's the only movie they see.
That would be funny.
Rearrange them. Put them in front of things. Put them in front of just walk around the store and put them out like Easter eggs and everything. And
That's good content. I'm going to do that.
Now, guys in the chat, I think I did a damn good job creating this thumbnail where if you look at Connor, he does look like Han Solo in that suit.
He does.
Look at him. He's next to me riding that whatever that creature was called. I forgot.
Alpaca. Or
This is Goodwill is awesome. What you're saying is going to be a Goodwill?
Oh yeah, that was the last place I was hired at before the game store. But yeah, I look perfect right there, man. And of course, Han, he had the strange connection with the Wookiee, community. So of course they're gonna bring him in for the hunt for the abominable snowman and the Yeti and the michum. Oh man, I'm so excited for today.
Oh hell yeah! And I'm just typing in one thing, and then we're gonna get right into.
I'm really looking forward to the weekend, guys. Going to the Squatching Cowboy, Manimal Research, and Old Bear's Den Squatch Out in Tennessee. Flat Rock Booger's going to be there. BF Bud, Mogion Monster, Barry Browning, Blue Eye Northern, Sandra Piper. Man, Sydney Kent is going to be there.
What a lucky!
I'm so excited.
What a lucky bastard, I tell you.
You lucky,
That's gonna be
you
fun.
lucky bastard.
That's gonna be fun. You know, Bob, we're gonna have fun on our Bigfoot hunt in October.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. There'll be a lot of drinking involved with that. But
you know what? And Bob, if we don't see Bigfoot, I'm gonna bring out the voodoo doll of you, and I'm gonna make
these Bigfoot hunters aren't normal. So they're not. I mean, the guys that Connor, we know, in the community now, they're good guys. They're decent. These guys that are gonna be going out with Eric, I don't know. You'll find out. It's kind of weird. They're kind of weird people. They're not normal.
And you guys are going back to hunt the bear that everybody told you that was out there. But I really think it was, of course, a Sasquatch,
It was a Sasquatch.
Seattle Supersonics. Yep.
All right, guys. Now, we're here to talk to Yeti because I don't remember what show it was, but somebody brought up that the Yeti spawned off something else that wasn't technically a Bigfoot. And I'm not here to say true or not. We're going to look at it. We're going to study it. And actually, real quick, I was impressed last night before we did our show where I was really impressed with us. But I was on Russell's channel watching it, the Monster channel, Mongolian Monster. Now, I didn't jump on it because they were having such an interesting conversation. I didn't want to jump on it when they're having a good conversation. And I'm not going to sit here and say I 100% agree with a lady named Nikki was saying, but I like when she was talking about how you got to be careful when you're trying to study and research, because people now, I mean, there's a lot of channels. We all know that. But a lot of channels are stealing other people's materials and saying this picture came from him. Connor himself on this channel said a Canadian person was saying, why'd you steal this picture? I'm like, well, that's my picture.
It happens literally every week because I'm in like 75 Facebook groups, for Sasquatch, and I see it once a week pretty much. But the one actually got articles written, and Jeff Meldrum and Cliff Brackman were talking about it, and it was all just a hoax from Canada. And that made me sad, of course, because I didn't even address it because I didn't care. But then other people were like, oh, Connor should be embarrassed because he put it on the cover of his book. Well, Connor took the picture with his mama near the Ocheezy land, at Ocheezy Landing, near the Ocheezy Swamp. In October of 2017, I uploaded a video onto YouTube, my other YouTube, which is very easy to find, the Overlooked Youth, my music channel. C. Flynn on my music channel. All my music videos are on that page. But I uploaded it the day after and made a nice little slideshow of multiple pictures. And, of course, people are like, oh, this is the only picture I found, or the only one I found, where we found left and right and tons of other prints. So it was very cool. But man, people hoax all the time, and I'm excited for Nikki's channel to pop off. Me and her have never spoke, directly, but I know she's definitely stands on her 2 feet, and I respect that. And she's also been to a couple, meetings and conferences, and also expeditions. So respect to her.
And I don't know her link to her channel, but guys, if you go to my Facebook, not Facebook, I'm sorry. Reddit, if you scroll down, Bob has a dancing bear here, which is very cool. I thought it was very attractive. A little cool dancing bear. That was a cool bear. But this is a link to last night's show, and it was like in the last 45 minutes of show where they got on this conversation, and it just made me think, because I remember Bob and I were, we started doing shows because when Bob was explaining to me what his idea of what a Mandela effect is. Now, people don't chat, don't go crazy on us, but we went on a search on our channel here to find out what stories. Let's hear people's stories. Let's find out what's true or not. But even during our search of hearing people's stories and all that, there's a lot of frauds. I mean, there's a lot of people that were using certain things that there's just no way. Especially some things. Depending on their age, there is no way this could be an effect for you. No way. So it happens. It's out there. So guys, you should do your research, but be careful. Follow the source. Always follow the source. Find out where the original story came from. Because if you don't do that, any smuck mo can create a channel and make up shit. Anybody.
Yeah,
So
I
always
do.
follow the source. And how you follow the source? I mean, type in the title, type in whatever they're talking about, type it in the search, see what else comes up. You know, there's ways to wait, you know, trace
Talk to people.
stories. There's different ways. So always crisscross your stories and get multiple stories so you don't get sucked in to a lie. And then it's just funny because Connor was not defending it. He had to defend himself to this guy who was stealing it, calling him stealing it. I was like, I'm the motherfucker who took it. I mean, that's
100%. And that a lot of these people that they sit on their high horse and they think they're really high and mighty because they're critical and they ask like stupid questions that really hinder progress. I don't got much for it, man. That camp, a couple of them said delusional thinking, you know, coming from me. And that's crazy, man. Just because you don't agree with it, because you haven't done the research, when you meet the creator, the first thing you're going to regret is like, man, I should have changed my attitude because I thought I was so high and mighty and you were wrong the whole time. You know, it reminds me of the people that voted blue and they thought they were so right. And now they are, you know, hiding, literally going into hiding and won't even show their face. And as they shouldn't, of course.
Yeah.
Now, I got a bunch of tabs of this subject. And guys, first of all, remember, I'm not here to tell you guys what's true or not. We're here on this channel studying the facts, studying what the stories are out there, and then it's up to you guys what you believe in. So that's the difference between us and another channel. We're reading stories and crisscrossing people from the chat. Like I see Long Island Bigfoot that's in the chat. He might have something on the Yeti. He's going to put in the chat. We're all sharing stories, and this is what it is. Now, this first one is just, what is the difference between a Yeti, Sasquatch, and Bigfoot? Now, guys, I'm reading this from a story. So not even these stories are accurate because technically nobody really knows 100%. We might think we know, might got some DNA or some kind of proof, but honestly, nobody really knows on 100%, and especially news channels. They're not going to spend a lot of money too much on these kind of stories, but there could be some truth to these stories. So let's see here. Let me scroll down here. Let's look. Okay, here we go. So for decades, a dedicated group of men and women have vowed to drag into the light their mysterious query. Bigfoot, a mysterious beast that inspired books, movies, and research, which is all true. In the animals of mankind, common history, stories of a large ape-like humanoid. Okay, fuck it. Here, I'm just going straight to definition. Sasquatch. This is what it says. This is what it says about a Sasquatch. The term Sasquatch has become the most universally respected name for the enigmatic primate person hybrid. So basically, Sasquatch is the real name, and we did a show before where Bigfoot kind of came from America, but who cares? Deliver from Holocaust. Fuck that word. The word was first used by the Coast Salish peoples. These indigenous people inhabited the Fraser Valley in the Pacific Northwest. Hey,
yes, they did.
Northwest and parts of Vancouver Island, British Columbia, two regions that have yielded more recorded Sasquatch sightings than anywhere else. But we already talked about that on one show. Now, this is Bigfoot here. Perhaps the most common shorthand for Sasquatch, the term Bigfoot, came about in 1958. Gerald Crew, a Bluff Creek local. I know most of you in the Bigfoot community already knows this, but there might be a few of you that don't. So guys, take it with a grain of salt. In Del Norte Country, California, which I was born in, which featured the Humboldt Times for the cast he made of a large footprint found near his thing. So basically, he found a large footprint. He made a clay, and then of course a name like Bigfoot came out of it. So it caught on. It's
Jerry Crew found the footprints years before the Bluff Creek footage was all shot, but it was all linked, of course. And Carl Crew, Jerry Crew's nephew, is actually a movie star, and he's in the movie called Blood Diner, and he's in the Sasquatch community as well. And I did a roundtable with him, and he's a pretty wild guy, and he owns a auditorium in LA that they have, like headless corpses and of course, women with mustaches and a bunch of strange stuff, but it's a very cool connection. But yeah, the Bigfoot term, came out in America. It was always wild man, of course. But as we're going to see with the Yeti, the most famous thing is the 4-toed footprint. And of course, even here in America, maybe you see the 3-toed in the Honey Island swamp, but mostly 5-toed. But yes, the 4-toed footprint for the Yeti, the abominable snowman.
And, also, I hate to say it, but, you got to sell newspapers. You got to sell magazines. You got to sell stories. The name Bigfoot, it's no different than a stupid lady named Broom who took a phenomenon, said, hey, I'm going to name it Mandela Effect. It's just to sell books. It's a name that was based on a lie. Yeah. It's not even a real Mandela Effect, but they named it after a person. They did it for money. That's just the way it is. But Bigfoot is a cool name. I mean, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, cool name. I don't have any issues with that name, and a Bigfoot's not a lie.
Well, it'd be better than, you can't say big hand. If you said big hand, you might think something else. So Bigfoot's better.
He's got a big hand. He gets slapped in the face. Bob, you're smart.
There's big hand. There's big hand.
Quick salute to Long Island Bigfoot, of course. He is a huge, prominent staple in this Bigfoot community. He has made contact with these creatures, with these beings, with these deities. And every day he's pretty much going on expeditions, dropping tons of knowledge. And the fact that he, shows up to these other videos really speaks volumes, man. Salute.
Oh, man. Lot of material, right? I try to put some of his material on my Reddit, and like every hour he's got something out. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, he definitely stays active, and he's right up there in New York where they've done a ton of strange experiments. The Philadelphia experiment happened up there, and then that is also linked to the Dyatlov Pass incident where the hikers went missing, and the wild man, the Yeti, might be responsible all the way overseas. So it's crazy that the research that Long Island Bigfoot is doing is actually connected to the Yeti. So the fact that he's here right now, whoa, it's a lot crazier than people understand. Like Igor Burtsov, he was at an Oklahoma conference, and Bigfoot called him on the phone, and they played it on speakerphone. Of course, Bigfoot was with a man who had a phone. They made the contact, and they played it for everybody. So guys, Bigfoot literally could be listening to this for all we know. You guys start thinking outside the box.
I love our people.
Yeah, there's the delusional thinking that some channels want to rip me on. But guess what? It's putting out material, giving content, educating, entertaining. The newspapers are calling. The movies are calling. Good people are calling. So keep on talking that smack with the delusional thinking. Have a little bit of it. God dang.
Fuck them all.
You're doing great.
Fuck them all. Listen, there's ways to find the frauds of those channels. Trust me. Okay, I'm not going to get into it here, but I told Bob about a certain fraud, and he had this video came out last month. It supposedly have 115,000 views. 115,000 views. So when you got something like that, you're thinking he's going to have like 3,000 thumbs up, 13 thumbs up. That's 13 out of 115,000 and only 7 thumbs down. Listen, if I had 115,000 views on one,
there would at least be 100.
I'm going to have thousands of thumbs downs or thumbs up.
Yep.
Frauds. I'm telling you, there's frauds. Now, talking to Cheese Road, you know what they say about big feet. This is talking to Cheese. I wear size 13s. I know what you're talking about. Juan Torres, big hand. I won't go there. Alien hand syndrome, baby. Alien hand syndrome.
Idle hand.
Idle hands. Now here, we got Yeti here. This is the Yeti. Let's see what it says about the Yeti. Through commonly associated with the Sasquatch, the Yeti is an entirely different entity. Different. This creature's origin can be traced back to pre-Buddhist Eastern civilizations, particularly in the Himalayan mountains region. Unlike the Sasquatch, who is most frequently spotted in the warm and mild climates, that's usually the forest, areas of United States and all around the world. The Yeti is believed to be an Arctic creature that is usually described as resembling a bear more than an ape. Some early indigenous people of the Himalayas would worship what became known as the Yeti, calling it the glacier being. Now, this is why I love doing the show, because in the past, I'll tell you guys, in the past, when I hear the word Yeti, the only thing I was thinking in my head is, okay, this is Bigfoot, but he's white because he's in the mountains, right? Seriously, that's what I thought. But when you read this, no, there's a whole different mythological story with this thing right here.
Yup. It kind of reminds me of what Stacey Brown was talking about, how, of course, there's the Bigfoot that kind of comes down to Tennessee, from Tennessee down to Florida, the tall one, kind of like Patty, the famous footage. But then there's the skunk ape that has 4 fingers, 4 toes, just like the Yeti, and it walks on all 4s a lot, but it also can walk on 2, and it's extra hairy, and it has sharp teeth like the Mayaca skunk ape, the one that they spotted near Sarasota. So it's very interesting how there is a little bit of difference, but then you add in the abominable snowman too.
And that's right here.
Yeah.
That's right here. That's
the Island of Misfit Toys.
Abominable snowman. The term abominable snowman was first coined in 1921 by Henry Newman, a contributor to the Indian English language newspaper, The Statesman. Newman interviewed people in the British Mount Everest expeditions who encounter large footprints that their guides declare were left by what they call metal kanjime. Wow, sound like Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Kanjime does translate to snowman. Mito actually translate to man bear. In writing his piece, Newman mistranslated the term to filthy, which he then swapped out for abano. That makes sense. One the same with the Yeti. The snowman is generally regarded as an illusory being of far eastern hemisphere and not interchangeable with Sasquatch. Hey, Bob, in the cartoon of South Park, when they did that skit where
Man Bear Pig.
What is it?
Man Bear Pig.
Man Bear Pig with the vice president guy, Al Gore.
Yeah, well, Al Gore was hunting down the Man Bear Pig.
Yeah, the Man Bear Pig.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the Wendigo, of course. But, of course, it plays on, the Yeti and the Bigfoot lore, of course.
Well, the abominable snowman was rumored to live on an island with misfit toys. And then I heard he was rescued by a reindeer and a dentist. He was an elf. He was a dentist. He wanted to be a dentist, but he was fucking exiled from Santa's castle. And I know Mrs. Claus makes menudo on Sundays, but anyway, that's a whole different story. But yeah, he was exiled, and so he met a very feminine reindeer with a red nose. They went together, which is kind of controversial. We don't discriminate. Off on a small raft of some sort, they met up with another older man that liked to hang out with 2 younger, questionable individuals group to have together. Then they found abominable snowman with a bunch of broken kids' toys. So I don't know how you guys want to take that story. Sounds weird, but that's what I know.
Oh man, he makes a more normal appearance right in Star Wars, of course.
Yes, he does. Yes,
fighting through the snow, and you get thrilled by him. That was literally my first experience with Star Wars. So the abominable snowman has always been a part of my life. And then Frosty the Snowman and Rudolph, they've had encounters in the cartoons. And then just recently, Smallfoot was released, where that's from the the Yetis perspective, because they're like, oh my gosh, I found a Smallfoot. It's about a human being, a Smallfoot, of course. And then Abominable came out, where that's the Abominable Snowman, and he can heal the earth and create giant blueberries the size of melons. And it's just beautiful that these cartoons, they literally give you the truth right on a platter. And if you could see through the lines, then you could, live in this comic book life. But
absolutely,
some people have their dividers on.
Exactly.
He just gave me a great fucking idea.
About what?
The elk part. Connor should go to Lucasfilm, to Disney, and go, hey, remember that Wampa character you created in Empire?
Yes.
Technically, Luke just cut off his arm. He's not dead.
He's not dead.
What if Luke didn't kill him. He chopped off his arm and got out.
A mechanical arm.
Yes, we can make a movie with a mechanical arm about the Wampa trying to find his way back. Listen, the creature was hungry. He was only human out there.
But he was intelligent too. He wasn't stupid. He was intelligent.
He had him hanging he didn't know this guy had the Force.
No.
But you and I could pitch we could make a series out of this.
Hey, this might be where it all started, man. They're popping out Star Wars series like Kardashians popping out babies.
Yeah, give us the Wampa. We'll make a show out of Wampa. Who does not want to watch a show about the Wampa?
100%, man. What about the Grinch? I think the Grinch is like the most famous Yeti of them all. He lives.
He is.
Nothing to do with anybody.
He's like the unsung hero of Yetis, man. He literally has the definition of living on the fucking mountaintop, pissed off, isolated by himself on the snowbanks up there, just watching everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to show a picture. And I want to have Connor explain this picture, guys.
It's not of you nude, right?
Oh no!
Okay, good.
That's too much. Weird. That's too much for our great people to handle.
Would be weird.
Because if I do that, Bob, they're all gonna give me tips.
Yeah,
all the women are gonna give me tips, and all the guys are gonna give me tips because they're all.
I just ate food, so I don't want to see that.
They're all right now because Bob, they know I wear size 13 feet, so they're like, okay, but guys, don't worry, I won't do that. Here we go. So this is called the paintball hand. So Connor, what is so badass about this picture right here?
Yeah, that picture is black and white, and it's kind of hard to see. There is a colored picture a little to the left that you can see a little bit better.
Let me see.
Just scroll. Yep, right there. What? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh that God. One is a really famous hand that they recovered deep in a cave. I'm pretty sure in Nepal. And there's a very similar one in the Expedition Bigfoot Museum in Georgia. And I am going to do a video about it and kind of ask the person if this one is a replica of this one or if it's a whole separate incident and occurrence. But of course, people always like, oh, we need a body. We don't have the bones. There have been Yeti remains recovered. And there's also a scalp that has been shown off on Atlas Obscura and also other museums. And so, guys, yes, the Yeti has been recovered and discovered over there. And in, I think it's Russia, there was an ape lady named Zana, and they actually mated with her. And the first two babies died because she ducked them right in a freezing river because I guess that's what the Sasquatch do. Right after they give birth, they put them in a river, to wash all the gunk and probably to cleanse them in a beautiful way. But the half human of the baby could not withstand the cold temperatures. But the last baby, I was told she had 4, but I only know of 3. But the son, they didn't let her dip him, and he actually grew up to be a normal man, but he did have a little bit different skull and tendencies, and it's very cool. And they have his skeleton and pictures of him. So it's very cool that, once you dive deep, guys, these videos and these pictures are just the beginning of the spear because, guys, they have bodies. They used to live with these things. They kept them as slaves. They were ruled by them. It's both sides of the king, both sides of the spectrum.
Well, yeah, I mean, people ask me, I went to school for anthropology, and so I'm going to be honest with you guys. 100%, I'm not going to bullshit you. They have these artifacts. They've got bits and pieces. Bones. They've suspected it be a Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever. And they say, others say, well, that's not enough, But listen to this. Let's back this fucking bus up a little bit. There's a species of human called the Denisovians. The Denisovians, they've got the DNA. They've got all the information. They've got whatever you want to look at in pictures and books of what they look like in documentaries. Do you know what they have of the Denisovian to get all of this information? They've got one tip of a finger bone. That's it. Everyone's like, well, wait. No. That's all they got of the Denisovian. It's a tip of a bone. That's it. So you tell me there's evidence in science, in science, blah, 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 writing papers. It's a piece of bone. It was enough for them to do a DNA scan. And then nothing for them to do with DNA and then have it out and be published. That's all they have. There's no fucking skeleton of the Denisovian. So I let people understand that when you see these body parts, this is a breadbasket filled with.
Yep, this is a breakthrough. This is all you need for information. Of course, you could get a whole skeleton, but guys, even a little bit of DNA provides all the information you need.
That's right there is more that's more than they have from a Denisovian. But it's questionable, and I always tell people why questionable. They send the DNA off. They've done it all the time. These I feel bad for you Sasquatch hunters. You go out in your own pocket, you raise money, $6,000, $7,000, and I mentioned this before, to have it sent out to a fucking lab that charges around $10,000. It's not cheap, and you're not going to write a paper on it. And they get back results inconclusive. Your money's gone. And I always tell people, do not send it ever to Santa Cruz. Okay, that's CIA headquarters for fucking people going to college. They're not real there. Anybody coming out of fucking Santa Cruz, and I know people from Santa Cruz, believe me, do not send your samples to Santa Cruz. Send it to fucking Sweden. That's the only non-biased place that's actually trying to prove things. And why Sweden? Everyone says, why Sweden? What you guys don't understand is a lot of these artifacts were originally looked at by, and I hate to say this, but Nazis. During World War II, the Nazis send out expeditions to look for the Aryan, for the giant, for the whatever, the monster man, or whatever, the original giant humans, which they figured had red hair and represented whatever. They were the first ones to go out and look for these things. So when it goes back, they're racist over there in Sweden. So they're going to look for that DNA. They're going to do the best they can. They want to prove something. Who cares? You just want the results and the DNA done correctly. So these results, bunch of schmuck guys, probably scientists from whatever channel, go look at these things. They immediately go send it to where? They go over to these the shield places like Santa Cruz, and then they don't get the results back. All the shows always show inconclusive. And I always go, where did you send it? Santa Cruz? Well, as a matter of fact, yes. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, next. The Buddhist. Oh, there's the scalp too.
Yeah. I was trying to get to it, and then what the hell just happened?
But yeah, the Buddhists only let some Westerners even see it, and take photos of it. But yeah, there is the famous scalp as well. So guys, of course, if they have a scalp and a hand, then they have other body parts, and they've of course made connections. So I don't know if it's naive or ignorant when people say, "Oh, there's no evidence" or stuff like that. It's like, guys, do a little bit of research. 3 clicks in on Google, and we got this. It's breakthrough.
Now that is similar. And I'm going to throw this at you guys. That is similar to the elongated skulls. Now they had just caught. You can see they caught the top of the head. It's been cut. It's been hand sawed. That is very similar to the elongated skulls down in Peru.
Yeah, it does.
It's elongated. It's the same elongated skull. Yeah, cap. And
it also looks like the Sasquatch cone head that is always described.
So in the front, on elongated skull. Now I'm just going to say this, guys. Now just bear with me on science. It's called the Newcomb's crest. It's where the bones feed together. And so on the elongated skulls, they feed together towards the front. Now you guys can see kind of what looks like a little bit of a divot into the skull. When it gets to the back, to the cranial part back here, that seizure stops. It stops, and it goes in kind of like a butt. And there's no split towards the back. You could see where at top, it looks like a little bit of a butt up there on top. And that line stops there, just like the elongated skulls. I'm just saying. Now, these tall, whatever they are in Peru and they also found them in the Caucasus Mountains in Europe, could have interbred or mixed their DNA with other species to have hybrids, because we've already proven they have hybrids in Peru. They could have mixed them with other Neanderthal, Denisovian. They could have mixed them with other species of human to have what we would call the Yeti.
Bob, let me ask you this question, since you work in the museum.
Yeah.
Every year, DNA technology gets better and better.
Yeah.
They're able to even do more. Do these museums actually sometimes go back to the stuff they already have? And since, maybe they know what year they did their DNA.
Yeah. When I worked
5 years later, this is better now. That's
when I worked at the Smithsonian Institute, they had skulls that they did testing on. Now, let me say this: the skulls belong to prisoners. They belong to the prison system, which means they belong to the state, which allows them legally on paper to use their skeleton as testing tools to check for whatever was an environment of that year. But yeah, they can do that. But it's funny to me when I was there that nobody talks about the elongated skulls. Nobody talks about Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Any of that information is gone because it might prove something that these giants were in the past. These different species of human lived in the past.
Yep.
Also, along with the elongated skulls, along with probably Bigfoot, and this is my guess and my guess only, the difference in skull is when you have a human skull, you pick it and turn it upside down, right dead center is where your spine goes into the center of that skull. When it comes to the elongated skull humans, the hull is at the back because all the weight is back here. So the way the weight distributes, the spinal cord goes into the back of the skull, not to the middle, but to the back because of the elongated weight. That's how the body designed it. Same thing as I'm seeing right here would be the same thing. I can see blatantly that this was a breed that these individuals had bred with or mixed with, or because we can do that now. We can clone now. We can artificially inseminate now. They can artificially inseminate. They could have come across a Neanderthal and they could have mixed with Neanderthal, and you could have a Denisovian or a half Neanderthal, half tall, elongated skull people.
What is all this neck talk? Hold on, I'm seeing.
What's that?
Yes, and neck elongation also. Neck stretching as well, but they are giving homage to these creatures. Yes, I've heard.
They're talking about the boarding. They're called boarding.
The boarding.
So some of the peoples would. That's the argument that came in, that they were boarding the skulls. In anthropology, we learned about how that they did boarding, and so that was that's the going consensus. But there are now scientists saying, well, the skulls are different. The skulls are completely different. The spine attaches to a different part of the skull. These are not board. You could tell 100% easy like that if it's this species or just a human that boarded their fucking heads.
I've narrated over 200 newspaper articles about giant bone excavations, about the sun worshippers and the mound builders, and they're always in a seated position facing east, right towards the sun, wrapped in copper and jewels and gold. Yeah. And then some of them had elongated skulls, and some of them also had horns in the Susquehanna Valley over in New York. New York Giants, Tennessee Titans, San Francisco Giants. It's all based on true excavations. But yeah, in the neck situation, there have been creatures or beings or people with long necks, and then there's also been people that have altered their neck, and then there's also been people with elongated skulls, and then there's also been people that have altered their skulls.
Yeah.
So I'm glad the chat is definitely popping with that.
Yeah.
They're right on the right path.
Yeah.
I love it. They're all thinking. They're all coming out the stuff. I'm like, that's why I was trying to bring it up.
And then shout out to Dylan Clark real quick. He's from Creepy Unsolved. He had a comment. It popped up real quick. He is going to be on Squatching Cowboy as well, man. Can't wait to see you on Friday, man. You're going to be at the camp out. It's going to be so exciting. But also Friday, I'm going to be on Missing Person Mysteries with Steve Stockton, and also Dylan and Sabrina and Gemma and Laura, and also an awesome guest who's writing about the Yuba 5, and then DB Cooper, which is right up your guys's.
Yes, I know about DB Cooper. Awesome, man.
Now, if Bob goes missing, will he do a show about Bob going missing?
Oh man, yeah, we will definitely do shows about Bob going missing, but I will be on the first flight that way, or I'll be with Operation Pineapple, and going Pineapple Express, Pineapple Express, going underwater in submarines just to get to you over there.
Okay, now that hand we're talking about, the DNA. Now it says here, according to the members of the monastery, a monk once walked into a cave to meditate where he saw a Yeti. Many years later, the monk came back to find that the Yeti was dead. He collected the hand and scalp and took it back to the monastery where it remained until it was discovered in the modern age.
That sounds right.
And I know it was stolen and a bunch of other crazy stuff. And of course, there's a bunch of claims saying it's not authentic. But guys, that's right there. Let me just
ask you guys, is that just luck? Because we know right now it's almost next to impossible. I mean, there's a small percentage that we can find some kind of bone now with, a piece here and there, like the one you found. They're very hard to find. And then he finds basically a skeleton dead Yeti. I mean, that's luck, or maybe in that area. There's not really a lot of places.
I think it's
I'm thinking, how did he get so lucky to find this big piece? And it's almost next to impossible for regular people to find even a tip of a finger. Yeah,
my argument was for a lot of people is, well, it's a gorilla. I said, okay, well, where the fuck? Tell me this. Now, look at the history of a fucking monk. Okay, they send them up there as children. They got to pick one of the kids out of the brats to send up there, like one of the litter to send up there. They're not from Africa. They're not going to go to the Congo. I'm sorry. There are no monks walking through the Congo looking for body parts from apes, then bringing them back to the Alps. I'm so sorry.
How do you know, Bob, that they're not going to the Congo? They might go on a weekend.
Right, or somebody from the Congo left the Congo holding some parts from a gray ape and then climbed the Himalayas to give it to the monks. Here you go, worship this.
Oh, I know this story. The guy that hitchhiked an airplane with $1 million and never found them. Yeah, I know that story.
Yeah, I love DB Cooper, man. I love this story. He was a nice guy. He was very friendly with people. Didn't hurt anybody. The first guy he just jumped out of the plane.
It was Burt Reynolds. He went to FSU without a paddle.
I love that. I love that movie. He just had a briefcase and jumped out of the plane. That's all it was. Have a great day, guys. Go about your business.
But yeah, Squatching Cowboy, thanks for being here. Squatching Cowboy is one of the hosts for the camp out this weekend. Man, thank you for doing what you do. And I said it on last night's show, but when I heard you say you were coming from Texas and that you would pretty much have double how far I'm going, so there's no excuses. And you were calling out everybody. You said everybody should go, and I was like, bro, I took it, man. I was like, yo, loud and clear. I ordered my spot right next to Flat Rock Booger. Barry Browning is hopefully going to make it up there too. It's about to be so dope.
You guys have a good time.
Now, Bob, here's information where that thing got tested at. And we see if
where you get tested at. Here we go.
You know this place. It says on December 27th, 2011, it was announced that the finger belonging to the hand contained human DNA following the test carried out in Edinburgh. Dr. Rob Ogden commented that we have got a very, very strong match to a number of existing reference sequence on human DNA database. Human was the expecting humans is what we got. Now, Bob, Edinburgh, if say they got this and they did DNA and they know it's not human, I mean, that could be a fucking flat-out lie.
It's hominid, not human. We are hominid. Human is a fucking is a layman's ignorant term. Human. Homo sapiens sapiens, you got to go back to the science fucking area, is a hominid. Yeah, it has a primate DNA. Guess what? We're primates. Hominid DNA, human. Well, this with a human and primates are different. Yeah, they do have a different, and it's not primate. Okay, it's human. Okay, so these are upright walking humanoid. They could be descendants of Neanderthal. They could be descendants of Denisovian. They could be a combination of the two. They could be a combination of three because of the elongated skulls that are out of the Caucasus Mountains, out of fucking Europe. They obviously are. There's a mix between the three. It could be anybody with any knowledge of genetic testing, but obviously human is correct. It would be human. They didn't say primate. If you say primate, we are technically in the primate family, but they're saying explicitly human. That would be correct. That would be the Sasquatch. That would be Bigfoot. Human, yeah. Obviously, the characteristics are fucking human.
I mean, we're all animals. I mean, technically, we're all animals. We just have smarter brains than the average animal.
But they got the minimum test done. Like, it's the very bare minimum test. They didn't take it where they had it broken down. Again, I go back to the joke about Ozzy Osbourne having Neanderthal DNA. He does have Neanderthal DNA. They can find the markers, the protein markers. So they can go back and do a different test. It's a different test. They didn't do that. In other words, somebody didn't have enough money. It's about money. So they've got the test done. What species is this? Well, according to our research, it's human. That's all you're going to get. You're not going to get the breakdown principle. Well, there seems to be a portion like here's Neanderthal and here's Denisovian, and over here we've got another whole different species. You know, they're not giving you that breakdown. That's a little bit more of the money. It costs money. I always at the people that think, why don't they just get it done over here? Do you have $20,000? No, that's what it
costs. Just to be told it's human. We all resembled human. It had five fingers and a hand. You know, come on.
I went on an archaeological dig in East Timor, Indonesia, and we got there. And the budget was like $100,000, and everyone's like, $100,000? Yeah. What do you guys do for $100,000? You guys stay in a hotel? No, we slept in fucking tents. We ate out of cans. It was out in the open. It was harsh. And what's it $100,000 for? The fucking tests. Everything has to go back to a lab, and it costs money. They charge for that. So all the stuff that we've got, the lithics, the this, the that, anything organic, every specific piece of organic, whatever you find, goes to a lab for testing, and it costs money. So all that extra money is for tests. The archaeology, you're just the guy with a shovel. The rest of it's about the money. You got to pay to fucking have that stuff looked at under a big-ass super microscope, a bunch of hungover guys in white lab coats. They're not cheap.
No,
universities are.
You're kind of right, because as humans, if we go to the hospital, you hear that word, we need to do more testing.
You go to the
when you hear the word, we got to do more testing, you're like, oh, shit, my insurance doesn't cover all this. I'm going to have to pay out of my own pocket.
Thank you. They have the. I go back to the elongated skulls because I'm telling you guys, they're similar in family. They have these. They have this one baby. I forget the name. He's wrapped up. Look it up. They want to get his brain tested. They want to get his body looked at. They had to put him into one of those machines you're talking about. It's $100,000. You understand that? There's no insurance on something you find in a cave. There's no insurance paying for it. It's $100,000 to put this fucking little ass thing into and run the machine. It's a lot of money. Who's got that money? And if you have that money, you're part of something that don't want to talk about it. You know, you're part of something that's not going to let that information out. You're already privy to something that you don't want the dummies to know about or whatever the lower. So, Eric, you nailed it. You nailed it. You guys ever get your leg in a fucking X-ray machine and have it looked at? You paid $300 deductible, but it costs like $15,000.
Well, you know why a lot of criminals get away, right? Because a lot of these small towns can't afford
the DNA testing.
DNA tests like the big cities, you know, trying to find murders and all that, unless the FBI joins in, and then they'll spend the money to do DNA to catch the person. So that's why guys like just don't have it. They go broke. They're bankrupt.
That's why guys like Connor and his buddies, they can go out and do all that. They got to get photographs. That's all you're going to get. Photographs, footprints, anything. If you guys find DNA, you're just going to pass it around the campfire because none of you got $100,000, $20,000, minimum $20,000.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for the test?
Right. Some of my research team members, have found hair and then have had candy wrappers ripped up. So of course they have the DNA literally in bags and have videos of them discovering it with gloves on. It was done 100% correctly, and it's going to come back, human contamination if you actually send it to, the professionals. So
every time
the professionals, academia and modern science clearly are just take a back seat to reality the past few years. So guys, you got to just push forward with the community and the voices and the people, because there's just enough of us going forward that, the truth is going to come out.
Yeah.
And Eric actually has a picture and an article about one body actually being discovered, and that is on display in a Buddhist temple. It's called the michum, and it's a different type of Yeti. It's a small person.
Yeah.
I have
you should do a show. You should do
I got a solution. I got a solution to everybody's problem. I got a solution. I'm going to show you where you should send your DNA to. I have a solution.
What's that?
Here we go. Right here. $99. Ancestry.
Ancestry.com. You know what? You know what? But it's saliva. But
I know.
But let me say this. If you guys have got the right stuff, and you would able to somehow break it down to a solution, you could break it to a liquid solution. Just send that swab and have them do it for fucking 99. You just might be a redneck. I don't know. If you can get your Sasquatch DNA sent out to fucking what is this?
Ancestry.
Ancestry. If you send out your Sasquatch DNA to Ancestry.com, you just might be a redneck. So
you could do the basic for $99. You could do the family tree bundle, or you could do the $119. Get the Ancestry DNA traits.
I think it's doable. As stupid as it may sound, I think it might be doable. If you guys had the actual DNA and you're able to somehow get it down to its, if you can get the DNA broke down into a liquid.
They found, Sasquatch DNA and have gotten it tested, of course. And the mother is human. The ancestry is human. The mother's lineage. And then the father is unknown. So it comes from the extraterrestrials, the other planets, the lands below our feet, the stuff that Juan Torres is talking about, of course. But when they looked at the ancestry, they could see where it came from. The mother's lineage, somewhere African, somewhere Australian, somewhere Middle Eastern, somewhere from America.
Yeah.
Well, it's super cool. Somewhere Jewish. You could tell, man. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently, you have to spit in it. No, you spit until you filled a certain amount.
Yeah.
Well, spit is liquid.
You have to somehow get. You can do it though. You can, if you knew somebody in the lab, you can get that broken down into a liquid. If you get that, whatever sample you have, it's gotta be some solid DNA, like a metacarpal, a toe or a finger or a tooth. You can get a tooth. You can get the inside of that information, that DNA out of that. You could take that swab and just somehow get that broken down to a liquid, get it in there, and then you just might be a redneck. You send it off to the.
Wouldn't it be fun to do it?
You get it back. According to the paper, we can't figure you out. You were in the Caucasus Mountains, but you also have ancestors in Peru. And some sort of, you have some African in here. You're going to have this crazy ass track of where you. Cool, it worked.
Wouldn't it be fun just to do it? Just send it in, just to see what the paper says when you get it back.
Yeah, you send them that fucking Sasquatch DNA.
Now it says here in Bhutan, the Yeti is far more than a mythological creature. Okay, so most cultures have lost faith in the Yeti. a mythological ape-like creature that is said to have once roamed the Himalayas, but in Bhutan, the Yeti and its smaller cousin, is it michum or michum?
The Meacham.
Michum. Michum live on in rumors, postage stamps, and even a supposed Yeti corpse.
Yep.
So,
There's a good
no.
documentary back in the day on Nat Geo that they actually go into the Buddhist temple and they show them the corpse of the Meacham, and it's very cool. And Meacham means little person, so Pukwudgie, elf, gargoyle, little one. Could have been a juvenile Sasquatch, a juvenile Bigfoot, but I also think it was a little person because there are so many stories of the Fae and other strange creatures like gnomes and trolls that there's some kind of truth to it. And I've had occurrences with things that I cannot really explain that were not Sasquatch.
Well, is this is the Himalayan stuff, Eric? Is it? Did you on the cover it said Bhutan?
Yeah.
Yeah. That has its own mysteries. I don't know if you guys knew that. That place is there's number one. Well, let's go on with this, and we'll talk. I'm going to tell you guys about that country before, and you're going to come up with some. Yeah, I'm going to say that Connor's going to love to hear some of this stuff about that country. It's kind of cool.
Should I pull up a map class so people can see it?
Yeah. You're going to, because it has a backstory that is interesting about Bhutan. You guys take a look at it. Because that's the States.
Well, I have to put in
And we're going to have to look at the Dyatlov Pass incident here soon, too, because that is a very big and prominent story. And then it inspired the Devil's Pass, and that's what I was watching this morning to get inspired for this. I wish I told Eric to watch it last night.
Get it on, yeah. So you got to go up a little bit, yeah. So this country is, believe it or not, sovereign. They're between India and China, and they are sovereign. Somehow they managed to sovereign themselves up away from China, which is a problem at the moment because China's trying to take them back. But they're working with the EU back in the 70s, like 1970. They joined the United Nations. They were asking for, hey, we're sovereign. We want to help us out. So they're protected by the EU, and they're sovereign. Now, this is a predominantly Buddhist, as we say, Buddhist place. And they've got a back history. One of the original histories of this place is there was a wild man with powers, magic powers. Now get this. This wild man, they say wild man of the forest or wild man that lived outside. This wild man fought a demon. This is the literature. This is their backstory. This is the story they tell their children. This is this country. The founder of the country, that it was founded by a wild man of the forest, a wild man, obviously, what we're talking about. He fought a demon using his penis. So he fought he fought the demons using his penis. Now, so if you go to this country, the fallacies for the penis. Now, guys, this is all anthropology. We're not putting anybody. The fallacy for penises in Bhutan is everywhere. They've got them hanging on their doors. They've got them outside. They've got them spray painted like graffiti. It's everywhere, the penis, because the story is that the wild man of the forest, whatever, fought demons and kicked out the demons out of the country. It protects the country. The wild man protects the country using his penis as a weapon. As weird as it may sound. Now, this is anthropology. It goes back to the story of Sasquatch, not Sasquatch, but the abominable snowman, the Yeti. It's similar stories of the Yeti. So the Yeti protects this place, Bhutan.
That's awesome. And just looking from the pictures, you can see the topography and terrain is incredible, and it's filled with mud fossils. There is tons of giants laying there, so definitely there is some truth to that story. And the famous sword, guys. Everybody has their first sword. Oh man, that's incredible, and there's tons of other stories like that around this world. So yes,
yeah.
it's cringe when people say there's no evidence, guys. The Mississippi bayous were carved by the Titans. The places you
Yeah.
swim and fish in were carved by the ones we talk about.
And they lived there. So this great wild man, the wild king, they made him king, wild man, protected and still in spirit protects Bhutan, which is so small that they originally thought there was 1 million people. Then they found out there's only like 600,000. But just the architecture alone in this place in some spots are just phenomenal. These large people, we talk about the large people, the hairy large people. Why else do they call them wild man? Because usually wild man pertains to beard and hair in these countries where they don't have any beard and hair. Wild man usually means beard and hair. Red beards, red hair, red, big, long.
Well,
so
Bob,
they have that story.
Now, what's this?
The
In Bhutan,
dragon. Oh, shit.
yeah, in Bhutan, often referred to as Druk Yul, or the land of the thunder dragon, takes its name from the Druk, or the thunder dragon, a mythical animal revered by the people there as the symbolic guardian of the country. It's the national personification of the culture, mythology,
culture,
and I wonder if there's a picture.
And monarchy, yeah. It's on their flag. They have the dragon on their flag.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the dragon is on their flag.
Let's see. I want to see if there's a picture.
Yeah, and this is Buddhist, guys. These are Buddhists. There's no, there's some dragons mythology, but not like dominant.
This is definitely like
sincere about the dragon.
Oh, it just gives me pictures of the city. Oh,
yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, there's the flag.
There's the flag. There's the dragon.
And that probably goes back to, the Chinese dragon. There was a bunch of dragons that represented each of these lands, and they definitely have more than just the physical attributes. It's definitely spirit realm too. And the Great Wall of China was definitely built for a reason. Oh my gosh, it's in the horoscope, the zodiac,
Yeah, and they got nothing to do with China. They're trying to stay. They are a sovereign people. They're their own culture. They're working with the EU. They're producing, and I highly recommend people try to buy products from them because they've been going. They're organic. They have to stick with it. Organic. Everything has to be organic. They even got EU inspectors that come down to make sure all their stuff is natural and organic. And they're barely making it off what they can grow there, but they're surviving. I think it's like 600,000 now. That's about left there, and the youth keep leaving. But this is a really interesting place. I want to see it bad. I want to go there real bad. It's amazing. Yeah.
It looks like a place straight out of a Terrence Malick or Christopher Nolan film. It's incredible.
They carved into the mountainside. They carved into the side of these little people with rocks and sticks carved into the side of mountains and built these beautiful structures in the side of mountains. No, man, no. All
right,
I think they
have to show something.
Yeah,
I have to show something. People in the chat. Now, go along with this. Don't. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I looked up what Bob said about the man who protects, and there is something on it. I found something on it. I'll show it. And this is not a joke. This is not. Hold on. There we go. This is what it says here. The legendary penis of Drukpa Kunli in Bhutan. The legendary. Yeah. And look, there's a picture there of a penis. Hold on. Yes. It says here. When I first noticed a giant car penis suspended over the entrance of a storefront in Thimphu, the capital of Bhutan, I said to myself, what? and then blew it off as a strange one-time thing. But the next day, I saw more and more, and in some areas, I was bombarded by slong on every street. There's penises all over the place. The 12-year-old in me wanted to laugh every time I saw the humongous penis. I'm not going to read the other word because I'll be probably kicked off YouTube. Attached to a hairy scrotum and dangling above a doorway. like the Christmas whatever. You kiss somebody.
Where's Joey at? Is Joey listening?
But I
Harry
knew it
Balls
must
are being
have
mentioned.
some. Bob, it says here, but I knew it must have some culture significance. So I asked someone. Yeah, look, there's pictures all over the place there.
Yeah.
It's a
So
movie
the
Superbad.
surprising sight of the symbol of darting homes, storefronts across can be traced back to a monk named Drukpa Kunli. In the late 15th century, he came to the country from Western Tibet's spread or whatever, captive of his audience. He often used outrageous behavior and dramatized his teachings, earning him name the Divine Madman.
Basically,
Okay.
Beowulf, Beowulf is an adaptation of the Magic Swordsman.
Beowulf. Yes, great story. Great
Well,
story.
I'm not going to read the rest of it, but basically, this whole town, I mean, they're all over the stars. I mean, you see, oh, wow. A temple. There's a temple built in honor? They built a temple in honor of this.
Like Tiana Trump.
Yeah. Also, traditionally, women will. One woman will. Ladies, relax on this one. It is what it is. One woman will marry a family of brothers. So, one wife to a group of brothers. Because again, it's just where they're located. I think it's obviously a sausage fest, is what we can see here. One woman traditionally marries some brothers. That's just how it has to go, and they work and all that fun. There's no bad. There's no anti-social. There's no making fun of them. It is the culture that they live in. But one woman will marry. Back in tradition, maybe now it's stopped, but she would marry brothers because it was probably more men than women living there in harsh conditions that survived.
They still do the same stuff nowadays, man. The ex-wife always goes for the brother. It's
with the brother.
Story. History repeats. History rewinds.
Divorce would be one brother, but you're married to the other ones. But it's an interesting culture. I'll be honest with you. I had never heard of it until after 16. I've never heard of it. I studied it. I was like, wow. This is the weirdest culture I've heard in a long time with all these weird things going on. But it was new to you. It was new to me, too, for a while. But now it's not new to you guys. Now it's something – it's interesting stuff to read, stuff to learn.
I like that. It works the other way, too. I'm looking for two sisters that I can start different family trees with. That'll be awesome.
Barry's sister, across the line. Maybe go to Bhutan and change that tradition around. I've just married sisters, But it's an interesting culture. And then back to Bigfoot, and there's a Yeti, the abominable snowman.
That's from is that from Rudolph or Abominable?
This one says Abominable Snowman, a polar bear, Las Vegas. It looks like the one.
That's from Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, I think that's the original. Yeah,
but he's got a bad tooth,
and then that one's Abominable.
The young dentist would fix his tooth. The young dentist got up into his mouth and fixed his tooth. So
that looks like my dog. That looks like my dog Eliza.
Yeah, looks like a mix between the dog and that one white Bigfoot that you use in the thumbprint. Pretty much the one at the top of the screen right now.
I wonder if Bob made it with the Yeti, and I got my dog.
Well, here's something interesting. Now, the abominable snowman is supposed to be all white. It's got white hair, which blends in with the snow. That's why he can survive in his environment. You have polar bears that have also white and blends in with the snow. Now, geneticists
Monster Inc.
and are like, how did this happen? It through years of evolution and dying of the darker ones, the lighter ones live, whatever. For some reason, they had survived. So you've got white polar bears, clearly white bears that live free on the ice. You can have white primates easily. Just the same genetics, same mutation they have, the same mutation they have. So, abominable snowman is highly plausible out there.
Definitely. And I'm sure there's some brown colored Yetis and then some tan colored, just because everybody's different. And when you're working in numbers of millions and billions, there's going to be many different, of course, variations of it. But yeah, the Wampa from Star Wars is definitely one of the scariest.
He's got his arm chopped off. He's still alive. That little guy's still alive. We should do, like I said, we should do a movie on him or a TV show.
I would love to see a cross between the Wampas and the Wookiees and just see even more history and lore behind them all.
The Wookiees and the Wonkas. That would be a cool mix. Wouldn't that be a strange family? Yeah.
I like it. Hey, Eric, pull up Dyatlov Pass. I saw that Dan in the chat was talking about he doesn't buy the avalanche theory, and neither do I, of course. And I don't buy the hypothermia theory that, oh, yeah, they were so cold that they thought they were so hot that they took off their clothes and then they put their hands in the fire. That's not true. Well, a couple of them did put their hands in fire because of hypothermia, but that was already after the wild man, rushed them out of their tent and they pretty much knew they were going to die.
Now,
that's a weird story.
Now, hold on. What's the word?
Dyatlov. Dyatlov. Yeah, right there. Dyatlov Pass.
Is that in Russia?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. But of course, it's all just imaginary lines when you're in the Ural Mountains.
Oh, yeah. That's that weird one where all the hikers are missing or dead or what?
Yeah, they ended up being found, and some of their sternums were crushed, skulls were crushed, some of their tongues were ripped out. Others were found with really bad. Yeah, that's the Wild Man picture. And there was a documentary put out by like Animal Planet or the History Channel, and a lot of people say that's a fake picture. I don't care either way. These people definitely encountered some kind of strange things, and they saw UFOs in the sky and strange light. And there's also been government testing there. And then the ancient people, the tribes people, warned those people not to go up. But of course they did anyway, and they paid a bad price. And if you read their journal, they mentioned the wild man, that they been stalked by him, and their heads were ripped from the inside. So they were actually like looking out, and then they escaped out. But all 9 of them are found in different positions all over.
Yeah. Was it burned, right? They weren't burned. They didn't have. I thought that was
there was 2 of them that were had bad burns, just because those 2 were ran out and they were like hiding in like a cliffside, and then there was a fire. I don't know if they started a fire or they went back to the fire, I'm not sure. Okay. But they had hypothermia at that point. They had no clothes on, so they couldn't feel anything, and they were just probably trying to die before the creature ripped them to shreds. But yeah, it's super bad. But yeah, their hands were burned because they had hypothermia so bad that they put their hands directly in the fire. But yeah,
their clothes were folded in the tents, and they showed them they ripped their way out of the tent instead of unzipping it. They ripped their way out. That's fucking weird from the inside. And
just like last year, probably this article, they always say, oh, yeah, science finally gives a reason for it. Like, no, it's all a big cover-up, a big scam. There's a great movie about it on Amazon called Devil's Pass, where these Oregon students go and investigate it. And then, of course, they have an incident happen to them, too. So I definitely recommend people go see Devil's Pass. It's on Amazon right now. Incredible movie, good information. And there is a documentary about this whole incident, but of course they've already said, oh, it's all false and stuff. But you never know if it's just information saying it's false or if it's actually false. So I always just take it all and just try to gather it. But there's tons of other stories in these same mountains of the wild man.
Yeah, and so it had killed them. Well, one of the running theories is that they were killed by the wild man, the Yeti, the whatever of the forest. But again, with the UFOs, there's the UFO thing again. I guess he said in the journals they saw these balls of light and kept watching them at night over this mountain or some weird thing.
Yep.
These balls of light, they kept watching them, balls of light, which is kind of fucking eerie. And then next thing you know, whatever was in there, something got it in there and then smashed them all up and beat the shit and ripped them to shreds.
And Danny makes a good point right there. Isn't it just a theory about them putting their hands into a fire? No real evidence on that. We don't really know how those burns came from. Because, yes, that is true. Because there was more mysterious burns. That actually just sparks me.
Yeah.
There's radiation on the body. So, yes, there was actually like radioactive burns as well. So, yes, I think there is many different aspects. And, of course, guys, I'm just, and I know Danny knows. I'm just an interpreter. I hear many stories, open many doors. I'm just trying to show you guys the hotel I'm trying to build, of course.
Yeah. Now, I heard stories about how the Russian soldiers were told to have them laid out where they were shredded, but they were actually drained of all their fluids, like the cows, like how the how the cows, the mutilated cows, it's the same thing. Their tongues were removed. Any soft tissues were obviously, certain parts, rectums removed, just like they use these certain, but I always argue that, like, the reason why they remove those parts of tissues, because that's where you've got stem cells. They're using stem cells.
Yep.
So they're removing the soft tissue where the stem cells would be. So whatever these things are, hypothetically, who they went there and went after these kids, removed body parts from them, stem cells. And what are stem cells used for? They're used for cloning.
Immortality.
Anything that can make organs with them. They're unprogrammed cells, stem cells.
Yep.
Unprogrammed cells. You can make them. You can make any body part out of a stem cell theoretically, and put any information you want, any new nucleus inside of a stem cell, and change it to whatever you want it to be. It's an unprogrammed cell. So all their unprogrammed cells were stolen from their bodies. Is one of the rumors that one of the soldiers came out and says, well, actually, they were drained of all their fluid, blood. Their tongues were removed. All the certain parts of certain parts of their bodies, the uteruses were removed. All these. Oh, that sounds like the mutilated cows story.
It has links to the Philadelphia experiment, like I was saying with the Long Island Bigfoot, where he's looking at Montauk. Of course, they were doing tests where they were, transporting people in a ship, and then their bodies were fused when it went through. Oh. And then over there in the Ural Mountains in the deep underground military bases, that's what they were doing. And it's all linked. So, yeah, I think these people are in the wrong place, wrong time. And I think a couple other hikers have went missing trying to retrace their steps. And I would love to go hiking and do that. But just recently, I just watched a documentary called The Summit, where like 12 people die within 48 hours on this one mountain. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like what I'm doing is pretty crazy, but what they're doing is even more mad, weeks at high altitude and, living off the land basically.
Yeah.
It's incredible, but it's rough. Yes.
Well, they have had mutilated humans, like they have had mutilated cows, but they've had them in they had them in Puerto Rico. They've had mutilations, like human mutilations in Puerto Rico and in South America. Down in South America, they've actually had their tongues removed, they've been drained of fluids. They call it chupacabra. Chupacabra got it. It's drained them of their. No, it could be something else. It's the same story as up in Russia. You might have a faction of alien that's not good. And instead of just pick you up and take DNA and then put you back, like we would do, like we tag an animal and put it back in circulation, they just take what they want and leave the corpse.
Yep.
There could be some bad grays or bad.
Maybe the chupacabra is the michum or some kind of variation of it. And I think that's super cool. And the fact that they have a body of the michum in the temple and it's like woven together and it's very leathery. Just proves it right there that there is little people out there, like little Gollum in Lord of the Rings, the Prowlers in the Caves of Descent, little Dobby in Harry Potter, a little house elf.
Yeah.
It's right there. Yoda. You know, Grogu,
Yoda.
the child, it's right there on everybody's freaking screen. Like, you know, when I do my shows live from my store, look at every direction. It's just truth in every area.
Yeah.
That's why tomorrow I'm gonna be like, man, every movie is based on reality. Of course, I'm gonna find some way to stem it back. But I'm super excited for that show.
Let me ask you guys.
Smoke the fire.
Let me ask you guys your opinions. We'll start like one of you. So now we read a little bit about the Yeti, about what they're supposed to kind of be, and you know, of course, the Bigfoot, Sasquatch. So I'll start with you, Bob. So, do you feel there's a difference between a Bigfoot and the Yeti, or are they almost basically the same?
I think they're the same. They were genetically engineered workers from whoever these elongated skull individuals are. That's now the DNA is coming back for that. Thank God. So you guys look up the elongated skulls. There's DNA results finally coming back for that one. They've had a problem with certain places, but yeah, and I think they genetically engineered them because the Neanderthal just died out. We don't know when. They guess just a few thousand years ago. Well, not that long ago. So you still have these species of human running around that can still live in these areas. They just mixed them. They mixed a different two. They didn't mix maybe a human per se, but somebody in a human family like Neanderthal. They mixed them with the elongated. They mixed with one of them instead of like a regular human, like a Homo sapien. They mixed with a Neanderthal. They could do that, and so the Denisovian. They mixed with one of them. So that's what these guys are. That's elongated skull guys from the Caucasus Mountains and other areas, the ones who did all the genetic stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's Connor the same question. So, Connor, do you think Bigfoot and the Yeti are the same, or are they totally different?
I think they're the same because Bigfoot is a broad term. You know, the skunk ape, the Yeren, the Yowie, of course, the Yeti, the abominable snowman. Of course, they're all types of human hybrid, and they resemble an ape, and they have super strength, and they also have supernatural abilities just because they're not tampered with like we are, because our mind, our body, our soul also has supernatural and magical powers. But they're not influenced by all these distractions. So yes, they can use echolocating and infrasound and deja vu, and probably can communicate with the plants and insects just like we can communicate with each other. So yes, I think they're all along the same family tree. They're a little bit different, of course, because the Yeti has 4 footprints and it talks like this, and then the skunk ape sounds like hey, shit. You know, we all have different terms in different ways, but I think there is a very close similarity between the Yeti, the Yowie, the Yeren, Sasquatch, skunk ape. But then when you add in the michum, I think the michum is closer to the pukwudgie or an elf than a Yeti. So that's where my divide comes.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Actually.
Now, do you guys think? Okay. You know, we're trying to get this stuff more mainstream in a way where it's more accepted for people to, I'm not saying they have to believe in it, but want to research it even more. But do you think in a lot of different ways, even in the own communities, that we're kind of all hurting ourselves by giving too many names to the simple Sasquatch, you know? Because now if you're a person that you want them to believe, oh, yeah, there's the skunk ape. There's a Yeti. There's this. There's that. There's Wildman. I mean, you know, running it even thinner. Because if you're trying to convince somebody, you might be convinced of a Bigfoot, but then even though we know that skunk ape is Bigfoot, by using the word skunk ape, you're making it even more harder for somebody to want to believe in it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just asking, do you think we're hurting ourselves by doing that?
I just call him a hominid. Because that's what we taught in school. When a geneticist don't have a name for a human from the past, but they know it's an upright walker, they just say hominid, the hominidae, the hominid. This is a generic term for it. We have a hominid.
Well, this is like this is what Hobbes wrote. I also think they are the same, just in the way that you get Arctic foxes, polar bears. They adapt to their surroundings. That's what I agree with that too. They kind of adapt, they kind of not melt, but I mean they mend with the if you're in the green forest, they're gonna look a little bit more brown to greenish. You're out there, you're out in the snow. You like animals to protect themselves, they're gonna blend in more with the snow.
Yeah.
Your surroundings.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, definitely.
But then somebody that I saw earlier way in the comment, like
that's what Connor was saying.
Somebody wrote, then how come the animals in the zoo seem like how come they skip changes, but everything else could change?
We have a mutation allele. There is, and even if you don't believe it doesn't do anything, and most people have to believe in evolution. That's cool, but we do carry one, and all the animals carry a mutation allele. But there's different theories on how people change. There's multiple now. There's God's doing it, possibly. That would be a good one. I like that one the best. But also we have, was it radiation can change? Radiation, which comes from the sun. Basic as that. They have what we call radiation storms. Radiation storms send particles down. These particles bombard our fucking atmosphere. And they've even, this is a fact, these bombarded particles have brought down planes. I watched a show today, ironically. A guy was playing video game. Okay, he's playing swear to fuck. Eric, I will find this link. I will send it to you and Connor. You guys watch it. You're going to laugh. Guy is playing a video game, playing Donkey Kong. And all of a sudden he hits the button and his character, Mario Brother, jumps to the highest level of platform. It's impossible for what he did. There's nothing for him. There's no way he could have maneuvered this guy this far. Live. So anyway, he did this live. And they couldn't figure out how he did it. And they found out that one of the characters, it was ones and zeros, changed from a 1 to a 0. Just enough programming for it to change. Same thing with these planes. Same thing with crashing computers. It's changing things within your computer. These bombarding of same thing with your mutation cells. This good old fashioned, just like Superman, the radiation from the sun can change your DNA. It can be that fast. It could do it. It could change your mutation cell. And that's one, if not anything at all, idea of it. Also, the other idea was mosquitoes, which sounds weird, but mosquitoes carry DNA.
Yes,
and they also carry viruses.
They jump on different people, and they
jump on everybody. They go from virus to virus to virus, and virus mutate. So mosquitoes could be another way that God sent down something to change evolution. True. As simple as a mosquito, or as simple as the sun.
This is what Jeff Hardy wrote. Some countries have various cultures. Ethnicities of humans and other countries are more exclusive. Sasquatch geographical representation can easily demonstrate the same differences. Okay.
100%. Like Orang Pendek, and then also like the Hobbit Man, and then the Star Man. There's a bunch of other skeletons that have been discovered, and other hominid creatures and other just cryptids that exist out there that resemble these creatures. And so, yes, it's all along the same family tree, but just different lands and different adaptations. There are thousands of continents out there. So guess what's outside the ice wall? Definitely Bigfoot, dragon, mermaid, Atlantis, everything all the Nazis were looking for. Yeah. Where's Adolf Hitler?
Yeah, the Orang Pendek. The Orang Pendek. That's in Indonesia.
Yep.
And I heard about that. And they similar to orangutan. And people know that orangutans are smart. Remember Eric, Any Which Way But Loose? Remember? Yeah, they're smart as shit. It only takes one mutation, one fuck up mutation for an orangutan to be born and able to walk upright and stay upright and have a little bit more of a brain. They've got these macaques now that have learned to use tools. They're opening things and shells and all kinds of stuff with tools now. They're tool users. That's number one on the fucking smart list.
That's crazy. I talked about it one time on the Horror Talk show. one time I was at this Teamsters party at the local zoo, and they took us like backstage to see some animals before they actually went like public and stuff. And I put my back against an orangutan cage, and it started pulling my sweatshirt like through the bars, and they had to cut my sweatshirt. It was really crazy. I don't know if they cut it or like pulled me out, squeezed me out, but it was very dramatic. And it didn't scar me or anything, but it showed me that, I was the marked one. And over in Ocala, there was an orangutan lady that saved this little female camper that had a compound fracture in her leg, and she couldn't even move, and she was going to bleed out, and then she got dropped off right outside camp.
Oh.
There's good old Clint and Splint.
And they know how to do sign language.
They can do sign. That Pantang, whatever. It was supposed to look like an orangutan, but it can walk. It can use tools. It can. It only takes one or two with that mutation to pass it on to a child. And it can move and
Here's a good story. Danny wrote, "My grandfather, chief of police, Foster, police Lloyd Foster, told me about the bones of a giant being found in Georgia. I believe in the 1950s, and the government quickly taking them away."
Danny knows, man. Danny, I hope you're going to be at the camp out here this weekend, man. That's right up your neck of the woods. We have room at our campground, so definitely stop on by if you're not already. But yeah, definitely the mound builders have been discovered and excavated hundreds of times around this country, and it's all been swept under the rug, sadly.
Yeah. Sure have.
We still got some channels, demanding bones and stuff. It's like, read up on the mound builders and the sun worshippers. Honest Abe, Abraham Lincoln has a quote about Niagara Falls was drifting even before the mound builders in the land of the giants. Like it's right there. And then Teddy Roosevelt wrote one about Sasquatch. So two of the best presidents.
It's in the Bible.
Giants.
The problem is, those channels says show you a bone. What if you have a real bone? You show it to them.
Well, I mean,
then it's fake.
ask them like, do you believe in the Torah? Do you believe in the Bible? Well, it's right fucking there. Look up the chapter. They talk about the giants.
The bone that Ninjarani found, a lot of people are saying it's a deer or a short-faced bear. And he might, send it to a university, but it's back in his hands. I hope he keeps it safe. The Discovery Channel, of course, interviewed us about it. And I hope, something really happens from that. But, man, it was on Coast to Coast, though. That really started me.
Well, Jeff says, I watched a video from a study this morning that shows several bees working together to unscrew a cap off a bottle of soda. Anything special can get smarter if the environment challenges them to.
Yeah, that's a fact, Jack. Yeah, it's proven. It's being proven over and over again in the animal kingdom.
Jeff Hartley, you need to go way back to one of our videos where Bob was explaining that how the Lost Ark wasn't really holding the 10 Commandments. It was actually holding bees. About why the whole theory of bees. So I don't know what video it was, but I think I called it the Lost Ark somewhere. I think it's called the Lost Ark. If you find it, Bob talked about bees that was actually in the Lost Ark. And Bob made great sense on why bees are in the Lost Ark. We don't have enough time in the show to go through that subject again.
I can give you guys a quickie. When you guys look up the history of the Notre Dame catching fire, I ironically was there, by the way, when it happened. But anyway, the cat fire, they went in to save artifacts. But what they really went upstairs, and it is in some articles, you can find it, there was some beehives up on top of why these beehives? These were unique beehives, and they were up on top of the caught fire, and then they went up there and they tried to save the queen bee. They were bringing down, and they had, and I've showed pictures of it. There was a picture of the firemen who saved the artifacts, the crown of thorns and all the fun stuff. And as they were standing there, some of them had a bee patch. And it's like how they show, like how Freemason shows a ring. They were showing this. Ironically, they all had a bee patch, and I was like, And they went up and saved this bees on top of Notre Dame. Look up the bees on top of Notre Dame. Now, I was in Paris running around there around that same time. Bees were everywhere because they had lost their home, and they were in the shops, and nobody was bothering a bee. I had a bee jump in my soda. Nobody flinched. These bees are special. They are special. And I keep telling people there's something about them bees, man, around France. And some people talk about it, some people don't. Now, they're very special. And I'm going to go into the whole theory about them coming out of, there's a big story with bees.
Bob, I found the video. I'll put the link.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I took the 23 minute clip and I shrunk it down.
Yeah.
So if anybody want to see Bob's theory about what's inside the Ark of the Covenant, it's bees. And Bob makes a good case on why it's bees. Guys, I told you we talk about everything on this channel.
Well, Jupiter Ascending says that bees, follow royalty. So I think there's something to it. I don't think the royal family is too royal, but I think they're holding royalty. So the bees are going to follow the stuff that's underneath the cathedral. So that's pretty crazy. I know it was Notre Dame. It's all connected though.
Well, because the Pharaoh means beekeeper. It means head beekeeper. Yeah. And if you look at the royals, whatever, they're one of their titles is head beekeeper. Why? You look at the Vatican, they've got certain hats and certain symbols. The bee is everywhere. Why the secret? There's a secrets behind the bee. The bees. Without bees, we're dead. There's no life. Bees are life. So they've taken them from these areas. These are sacred bees. These are bees of life. These are very special bees, honeybees.
What is Candyman, around? Bees. Exactly. Why is this out right now? Exactly.
And bees had died out mysteriously a while back, but everybody forgot. I'm like, do you remember when all over the papers the bees were dying? All of a sudden, there's not a question of bees. In this place that I'm staying, they follow me. There's a huge bee swarm. The dog just got bit the other day. Bee swarm here. There's bees all over Manchester. The symbol is the bee here. Bee. There's a lot of bee mythology going on. It's around the certain areas. But yeah, the bees. I did a whole section on them. But people go, that's okay. Don't listen to me, man. Don't listen.
Doesn't bees fertilize the plants, the flowers, and stuff to grow? Don't they bring life? They mentioned that if all bees left this planet, a lot of things would start dying.
Mead, even the Islam. I had Muslim friends. I said, you guys, you can't get drunk because you can't drink fermented grape. You can't drink the fermented fruit. Oh, yes, but you can drink mead. Like, what do you mean? Because mead is fermented bee honey. You can drink. You talk about a universal get together. It's like Islam. Guys, here's mead. It's fermented honey, not fruit. So you're not breaking no rules.
I'll tell my Mormon friends that as well.
Yeah. Tell them it's fine. You guys can drink mead. It's fermented honey. You can drink that. That's fine. There's nothing in the Bible against it. In fact, it encourages anything milk and honey. Honey is the food of life. So they can technically drink mead. They can go to their books. I've had guys go to their shit and go, you know what, dude, it's like a disclaimer. It's like you can actually technically drink mead. Yeah, you could smoke a little herb and drink mead.
I want to tell them thank you for the nice comment. I like the fun altitude of this channel, regardless of the subject. We go everywhere, man. It's like a tree that grows roots. Everything links up.
Yes, for those
Yeti and bees.
For those of you guys who can't drink fermented fruits, I understand it. You can't drink fermented grape. I understand that. So go get some mead. It's okay.
Well, and also, guys, it's proven for say medicine. Say you got allergies and stuff.
Yeah.
You want to get the honey that's made in the area that you live in. I'm not talking about honey from the other part of the country. You find out, where you're living at, where you're growing right there. You get the honey that's made in that area. It's actually antibiotics. It helps your body.
Yeah. When I go to Eric's house, Eric and I go to the Eric, I'll tell you, what do I look for? I go to Eric can tell you. Eric, tell him what I buy when I get to
buy raw honey. We look for raw honey.
Indigenous local honey from Eric's area. Because it's given me all the antibodies and all the things so I can have it so I don't get allergies. So I when I come back to Europe or England, I always buy the honey from that area first. I eat that honey for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then I get there, I don't get allergies. 100% works every time. Yeah, honey, keep bees.
Yeah, honey never goes bad, man. You can keep it for 1,000 years. These words are like honey; they never get old. The story like money, man, never gets told.
See, look at our smart chat. Local raw honey. Local honey
Juan
is
Torres.
for you.
Man, he'll tell you the earth is flat.
Honey will heal wounds. It's better than first aid cream.
Now,
raw is the key. Exactly. Raw honey
is the key. People don't know
antibiotics, local honey.
Yes. This was a Mandela effect, is whatever the definition is. I don't fucking care. I never heard of this. I'm saying just for me. I didn't know that's oh God, what's his name? The great he was a great fighter.
Muhammad Ali?
No, the great. He had horn. They had coins with horn. He conquered almost all of Alexander. Alexander the Great. When he died, they wanted his body brought back home. They put him in a barrel of honey. They transported his body in a barrel of honey all the way across the desert, hundreds of thousands of miles.
Even Danny, raw honey.
Yeah. all the way back to Greece or Greek, whatever, and he made it there without anything wrong in the barrel of honey. I'm like, huh?
Now,
very mean, honey, man.
Now, if there's any honey company out there, I think you guys should be sponsoring this channel because I seen people in the chat saying they're going to the store to buy some honey.
Oh,
CBD
God.
honey.
They should be thanking us.
The enzymes, the bee enzymes kill bacteria, kills viruses in your throat. Every night you guys go to bed, if you have a scoop, it kills whatever's in your throat. It kills it. You use it as a medicine.
I like honey right out of the comb.
Yeah. Where are we going into the honey again?
Yeah, fun. If you could bring some of those honeycombs, up to Tennessee, please do.
Oh.
Well, hey, maybe, Connor, when you go on your Bigfoot hunt with everybody, maybe bring a jar of honey, open it up, and put it out there.
People have traded honey. I've traded, magic mushrooms, ganja, a Taco Bell burrito, a lighter, coins. So yeah, we try to mix it up. So we'll definitely bring some honey up to Tennessee from the Gypsy Road.
Pass the honey around. Everyone
that's a good idea. Yeah. The Gypsy Road honey. We'll make Gypsy Road raw honey.
The first few weeks of the pandemic, I bought honey and I was eating it every morning just because I was doing that and taking hot showers because it just steams everything out of you. And then I was just like, guys, this isn't what they're saying.
You're going to Texas, right? You're going to Texas.
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
So you're going to want to buy a jar of honey from Tennessee in the area you're going to. Have someone mail it to you. And you're going to want to eat that honey the week or 2 weeks before you go. You're going to eat that fucking honey because when you get there, you're not going to have any allergies.
It's too late now. We're going Friday, but I will still get honey. And
when you're there.
Oh, yeah.
While you're there.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's going to be 3 nights of camping.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a lot of honey, a lot of crackers.
Honey.
Can you imagine, Bob? There's a video camera with all of them sitting at a campfire. Someone is playing guitar, and you see Connor in the back with a scoop of honey.
Yeah, local honey. If I go to any place, first thing I do, Eric, when we go there, you and I go to the health food store, and I get honey. And I'm eating that fucking honey every day, all night, watching TV, eating that honey because I'm getting my antibodies built up for that local area. So I'm getting
Usually we go to Whole Foods because it's supposed to be organic and it's raw. No nothing in it.
Yeah. With the first
only thing is you pay good money for good raw honey. You do pay.
Anywhere I go in any country that I've been visiting, the first thing I do is get honey when I get there. I get their local honey. Got local honey. Everybody's
talking about honey. My local farmers market has a beekeeper that sells honey with CLB additives. I have Sasquatch specimens taking honey from my research site, among other things, and they take a bit of honey candy.
Yeah, the CBD, the Sasquatch are getting high out there, of course, you know. And it's
Well, you can
being
put a little
enlightenment.
THC. Yeah, put a little THC in the honey.
Who's the,
There's a honey. What's that?
Who's the Disney character that eats honey?
Oh,
Bear?
Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
Winnie the
Pooh. Yeah. He goes up and bears eat honey and they don't get sick. Bears eat honey. They go up and they climb them hollow trees and they never, you ever hear of a sick bear? Never. Have a sick bear. You hear deer are falling down with this Lyme disease. This one's getting these ticks. This one, one way to put these, you never hear of any epidemic of bears getting sick and having to put them down. Bears are twice as strong as any other animal, and they eat a shitload of honey.
The Honey Island Swamp in the Louisiana is home to the rougarou and the Bigfoot. So you got to think there's something to the origin story to that, of course. But those claws are three-toed there that are found. But, man, that's some crazy, I don't know if it's inbreeding or maybe alligator man type thing. But, yeah, the Honey Island Swamp, 7 pearls. Represent.
The Honey Island
Swamp. Somebody just went to Tennessee. Scott goes, I just went to Crossville, Tennessee, and the biggest seller at the flea market was local honey.
Good to see you,
the
Scott.
old people know. All the old people know this from a long time ago. They just know that when they started feeling ill, mom gave them honey. Grandma always gave them honey. They eat the local honey. Everything in there is nothing but good for you. Like good for me. When you get sick, you make a hot toddy. It's honey, lemon juice, and tea, and some hooch, some strong hooch, and you drink it, and you feel better.
What is this? I put a bit of honey candy in Scrooge shut baby food jars. They open them, eat the candy, and screw the lids back on. I collect DNA from C-bomb prints on the jar.
It's smart.
Wow.
Yeah, you could put DNA in honey. It'll be preserved. It'll be preserved.
I interviewed a doctor that put out a bag of apples, and then it got ripped apart by a Sasquatch. And in the video, it shows the bag and everything. So, yes, you're definitely on the right line of thinking, man.
Yeah, also cider. Cider. Yeah, definitely apple cider is another good one for you. Honey, apple cider, or apple vinegar. Vinegar kills viruses ASAP. Honey kills viruses ASAP. Honey, or you can just drink cider. I like a little bit of cider.
Try to see if there's any honey in this.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Expensive. And don't buy
I do love my ice cream with a little bit of honey. If you guys are ever in Ohio, please check out Honey Hut ice cream. All the ice cream is made with a little bit of honey. It's very good for you. I used to just eat it and, look at me. I look like freaking Arnold in his prime before he told you, screw your freedom.
Yeah. Bee enzyme, man. They got an enzyme. And like human mouths we have our enzymes that break down food within. It starts in your mouth. Your spit breaks down food. Bees have an enzyme that breaks down bad things. And it goes into the honey. Because basically it's throw up. It's bee throw up. And so you have all their enzymes. So the enzymes are twice, if not 100 times better than ours. In anything. There's nothing bad, and you can eat whatever you want.
That's awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah. Just you can eat old meat as long as you have honey. I know it sounds weird. You can eat old meat as long as you have honey. That sounds weird because it's in your gut. And then, or apple vinegar. You can drink apple vinegar if you have bad meat, whatever.
I saw an awesome video today about how the Amish keep their food cold. They have an ice house that it's like a big ice chest, but they find the ice during winter and it keeps all year. Like, oh my gosh, imagine if, one of the guys doesn't seal the door all the way and it all melts. Oh my gosh. That is fascinating. I spent my time around a lot of Amish people in Ohio. They built a lot of my grandpa's barns, and I was just another guy on the farm, in those mornings, and it was incredible, man. I would love to talk to them now about Sasquatch and the Yeti and Sabe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Somebody said to look up royal jelly honey, so that's what I'm doing, looking it up.
Oh yeah, it looks good. Oh fuck, I
Well,
want
it
some.
look
looks
at
like
this.
you visited this page a few
This one.
times.
Look at that.
Delicious. It looks good. That Montauk honey, whatever, from I guess it was from Australia. No, New Zealand. It's supposed to be like the best.
Wow.
But there's good honey everywhere. Oh yeah.
Yeah, honey's
Rock
natural,
honey.
man. I bought some from the caverns too. I love
Ooh.
buying honey at local locations as well.
Always.
I usually gift it, but now I need to start eating it and then just gift
Eating
it.
it, yeah. I'm a honey junkie, man. I always get that every time I go to markets.
Good to see Iron Dogger in here. You guys definitely got to have Iron Dogger here as a guest in a future show. You know, she's the co-host of the Mogollon Monster Show, but she's also made history in the race in Alaska, the Iron Dogger race. So I definitely recommend people to check that out. She has also had Sasquatch encounters when she's done overnights on islands in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness.
Wow.
So she spent a lot of time in Oregon and Washington, right by your guys' stomping grounds. But she has a lot of knowledge for the Alaska.
But I do think we're gonna have a problem with Iron Dogger. Now she just came in thinking we're talking about Yetis, we're talking about honey. She's gonna be like, "What the fuck, honey? What the fuck? All this honey?"
She already
talk?
probably knows this.
Hey, honey goes to everybody's heart.
Thank you.
She already knows about this. She'll do a rewatch. Oh, I already know about all that. Yeah. Way ahead of you guys.
Talking about honey. No. Hey, I got to tell you guys, today was fun. I mean, today was fun. You never know where we're gonna go with this show. I mean, we can start on one subject and go to a totally different world. And I love it how our people in the chat, they have fun with it. They're talking about it. Everybody's pitching in their honey, their local honeys and all that. I mean, that's just awesome. That's just, you can't ask for better than that.
Everything's connected. Everything.
So right before we go, I already have the link up for the show tomorrow on the Horror Talks already up. We're going to be talking about movies that are based on folklore, according to an article. Cool. And, of course, we'll add our own other movies that's probably not on the list. Yeah. That's going to be fun. I don't have the link up for Friday's show yet, but, guys, I'm going to have to do Friday's show just an hour earlier at noon instead of 1 o'clock because starting tomorrow, school starts back up here in Washington. So I got to make sure the first days of school, the kids are, they're going to get there, just in case everything goes well. And then Friday, Connor's going to be on the road. He's actually going to be headed to Tennessee for the Bigfoot thing. Now, since you're going to be up there, you're probably going to be mostly uploading because you don't know exactly where you're going to be at during the camp. Because, during the researching and all that. So it'll probably be more uploading for you through the whole weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to be filming it all. I got a SanDisk card yesterday, so I have 5 hours worth of storage plus my other memory cards. I'm super excited. I'm going to film pretty much the whole journey up there because we're stopping at the Kolomoki Mounds. We're also stopping at 2 other giant Native American mounds up in Georgia. And then we're going to stop at the Expedition Bigfoot Museum. I'm super excited. And then when we get there, I'm also going to interview a bunch of people, basically what I do at all these, museums and conferences and try to get some words in. But I'm also going to be hopefully leading some expeditions and then joining on some expeditions. And it's going to be a whole weekend of crazy fun. But man, I'm so looking forward to it. But I'm also, I want to add in, right now at 5 o'clock, Nightmare 365 is premiering a video. He's the homie from me and Gypsy Road's online cryptids and conspiracies research team. Nightmare 365 premiering right here at 5 o'clock. You don't have to watch it live, but, go check it out. And then, guys, I also have a premiere at 5:15. So 15 minutes from now. 15 minutes, and it's about a 30-minute episode. So I'm going to be in there chatting with people as well.
And this is the link for it. I'm putting the link for it right here. This is the link for his show in 15 minutes.
Yes. Perfect. I'm super excited. I was going to do it right at 5, but I also didn't want to constrict us because sometimes we do go over the 2 hours and we want to breathe a little bit.
No, not us.
Yeah. Let me call Donnie Miller. You know, we could double up this real quick, and the stories will be, you know, even twice as good too, because Donnie has incredible ability of telling a story and really painting pictures. And he's done a lot to help me with my equipment. So I'm going to this expedition, you know, full ready. And I'm so excited to be neighbors with Flat Rock Booger, BF Bud, Ogion Monster's going to be up there, Barry Browning, Manimal Research, Old Bear's Den. I'm really hoping Janice Carter shows up, man. She is like one of my heroes, or someone I really look to in this Bigfoot community. You know, her grandfather raised a Sasquatch, and she grew up, you know, hand in hand with the Sasquatch. So I want to just hear her stories around the campfire. Last year, they got ran off by Bigfoot. So hopefully no violence this year. But, man, I'm just so looking forward to it. And I got a car full of goons and goblins. Got Tristan and Cameron from Hidden Relief. They're the brothers that had that elf incident, and they saw Sasquatch. They've been in a couple of my videos. And then also Cindy Kent Brewer, who lives in Mariana and is a Bigfoot artist, and she's friends with Old Bear's Den. So me driving with her is going to be so awesome, and hopefully we you know, share a ton of stories. Hopefully she can, you know, get down with the young bucks, because we're going to be stopping at all the stops to smoke the J's and have fun. So, you know, nothing changes in my car, of course. We're on the research bus. I'm like Mr. Frizzle, you know, the magic school bus.
Magic school bus.
And then we're going to get all these people on this channel to hear about their experience.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be awesome.
So beyond that, guys, I think we'll end the show right here. We're going to end the show right here. Then remember, less than 13 minutes. We got a live premiere on Bigfoot's channel. Jump on over there, because if you don't, then you don't know what you're missing. And then everybody else in the chat, thank you guys for the kind words, man. That was awesome, kind words saying how we involve the chat. Well, the show is the chat. The chat is the show. A lot of these episodes have been from topics that came from the shows with the chat.
Break the fourth wall, man. It's really cool. And we just saw Nightmare 365. He was watching. Those two brothers from the New Jersey area. Dude, I remember back in my only SoundCloud era of Bigfoot Anonymous, I'd be chilling in the morning just watching their videos. So they're definitely an inspiration, but more of like a peer, of course. You know, they're like balling on my team, and I'm like, oh, man, you got 20 points, I got to get 20 points. You know, it's very inspirational to see your buddies putting good data out there, and that's what it's all about. Tomorrow is going to be a great episode. Friday, I'm going to pop into Missing Person Mysteries with Steve Stockton and Dylan, of course. I've been showing up every Friday there telling campfire stories. And it's incredible opportunity, a great platform of incredible people. I definitely want to have Steve on the Horror Talk show, and I definitely want to have you guys have Steve on the Gypsy Road show.
Hell yeah.
And Steve is, you know, a wizard of the forest, and he is up there with J.K. Rowling with the ability, man. So it's a special platform. I'm going to my mom's house here in a couple of minutes, and I get my hands on my fourth book. It was delivered today, which is really good news, because Flat Rock Booger and BF Bud got one ordered, so I didn't want to show up one book short. So I finally get to see it in print, and that is like a baby being born, you know? Nice. Unless there's an Armageddon or apocalypse, I don't really plan on, you know, starting a family. But these are my family, my ideas, guys. And trust me, I would love to have a family, but guys, this world is so cruel and backwards that I would not want to put my love through that. And I think the most honorable thing would be, you know, keep acting the goofy self I am.
It comes to you, Will.
Beyond that, we'll see some of you guys tomorrow on the other channel. Hopefully you guys all show up, but you know, it is what it is. And we'll see everybody later. Have a good day, everybody.
10 minutes, guys. My premiere. Hop over there.